When people think about domestic violence, they often picture this one specific kind of story. And because of that, many men who have experienced it don't talk about what happened to them as being abuse at all. Not because harm wasn't real, but because they were taught to minimalize it, right? Laugh it off, handle it quietly, or simply survive it without calling it anything. In this Survivor to Survivor episode, we're talking about the complicated reality of men who experience abuse and why recognizing harm doesn't require someone to surrender their identity or masculinity. This is Survivor to Survivor.
Survivor to survivor, break the silence. In the depths of silence, a voice emerges. A voice that says, "You are not alone." Welcome to Survivor, where strength rises through shared stories, where pain transforms into resilience, where survivors connect and empower each other. Your story matters. Your voice matters. You matter. Join the movement. Subscribe now. Welcome to Survivor to Survivor.
Well, welcome back. It's another Friday, so let's get into our email here. It says, "Hi Tara, my current wife keeps telling me that what happened in my first marriage was domestic violence, but honestly, I never thought about it the way that she does. My ex-wife cheated on me from the very beginning, even during our honeymoon. Over the years, she constantly tore me down, called me fat, ugly, made fun of me sexually, embarrassing me in front of people, threatened to leave me all the time. She also had addiction problems, and we had issues over the years, including her selling things for drugs. There were times she slapped me too, but I never hit her back. I'd usually just walk away or leave the house until she calmed down. My current wife says I was emotionally and physically abused, but I don't know. I've just always thought of it as a horrible marriage. I think part of me doesn't want people looking at me like some kind of domestic violence victim. I've never seen myself that way, so I guess my question is, why does my wife see this as abuse when I don't?" So, the first thing I want to say is you don't have to force yourself to put a label on something you're uncomfortable with. Okay, and your hesitation makes sense. A lot of men struggle with this because society has taught them that abuse only counts if, like, you're physically overpowered, or severely injured or visibly terrified. And abuse, it's not defined by whether someone fought back, okay? And it's not defined by your gender. What you described, it included repeated humiliation and emotional degradation and infidelity, which definitely causes emotional harm. A lot of manipulation and threats, even financial betrayal. And in the end, you talk about physical aggression and a long-term pattern, basically, of disrespect and instability. Your current wife likely sees those things and thinks that wasn't just a bad marriage, this is abuse. And I understand that because I have a similar thing within my marriage. Healthy relationships don't involve these things. You know this, I'm sure. No constantly putting down someone or slapping them into conflict, destroying like their self-worth, or definitely selling their belongings for drugs. You don't have to identify as a victim in order to acknowledge that something like harmfully happened to you. Okay? And honestly, for many men, the word victim feels loaded. It can feel like weakness and powerlessness and humiliation. Especially if there have been years of you being the calm one who worked and provided and walked away instead of escalating. But your ability to endure mistreatment doesn't erase the mistreatment. Okay? Your strength doesn't cancel out that harm. And your wife may be seeing something you normalized over time simply because you had to survive it. And we've all been there as survivors. When people live inside dysfunction long enough, it can start to feel normal, especially when there are no conversations around men being abused emotionally or harmed by women. So maybe the goal here isn't forcing yourself to adapt that label. If you don't want to adapt that label, then don't. Maybe it's simply allowing yourself to recognize this, okay? You deserve better than the way you were treated, okay? And you may have already come to terms with that. And whether you choose to call it abuse or toxicity or dysfunction or something else entirely, what happened to you still mattered. So think about that. Many men struggle to recognize emotional or physical abuse because of the stigma and stereotypes around masculinity. If you're a man who experienced abuse or supported one, what helped you in the process without feeling ashamed or weak? Your perspective could help someone who's still trying to make sense of their experience. Survivor to Survivor exists because abuse and healing doesn't always look the way people expect them to. If you would like to submit a question for upcoming episode, email us at podcasts@breakthesilencedv.org and you will remain anonymous. Abuse affects every gender, and everyone deserves support without shame. You can help support survivors through our Walmart's Spark Good Roundup program. Visit www.walmart.com/sparkgood. Search for Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence as your preferred 501c3 of choice and round up your purchases to support survivors. Every small act of support helps someone feel seen and understood. And we will see you next Friday on Survivor to Survivor.